Good evening. Thanks for joining us at Awaz News. I'm Kubrali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada.
Man pronounced dead following daytime Cabbagetown shooting. Overnight shooting in Brampton that killed a man in his 60s was a targeted incident, say police. Toronto's downtown office vacancy rate inched up in the second quarter, Awaz and Young. 4 ministers won't seek re-election, cabinet shuffle expected as soon as Wednesday. Police search for missing man who went tubing on Nova Scotia River. Teen girl arrested after video shows bicycle cop being struck by stolen vehicle. RCMP recovered body of a child who died in Nova Scotia flooding. One youth still missing.
Those were the headlines, and now let's jump through the details.
A man has been pronounced dead following a daytime shooting near the intersection of Shutter and Sherbourne Streets. Investigators say the shooting occurred just before 12:15 p.m. on Tuesday. Police say shots were heard in a nearby parking lot. When first responders arrived on the scene, they located a man in a vehicle with gunshot wounds. No suspect information has been released. Anyone with additional information is asked to contact police. A shooting that killed a man in his 60s on Monday night in West Brampton was not random, say police. Speaking to reporters at the scene on Tuesday morning, Constable Sarah Patton of Peel Regional Police said the shooting happened right in front of a home on Argelia Crescent near Parity Road and was a targeted incident. She also noted that there is no immediate risk to public safety. Police were called to the scene, which is west of Sinkozy Road and South Williams Parkway on Monday at 10:18 p.m. for reports of shots fired outside a residence. The victim was pronounced dead at the scene, Patton said, and a known number of suspects fled the area in a vehicle. Descriptive details about suspects or the vehicle used to flee the scene are not yet available. A large police presence remains in the area of the shooting. Peel Regional Police Homicide Bureau is now handling the investigation. Toronto's downtown office vacancy rate hit 12% in the second quarter, up from 11.6% in the first quarter, to continue an upward trend according to Awaz and Young. The rate is far higher than the 2.1% the market was at the first quarter of 2020, the real estate advisory firm said before the COVID-19 pandemic led to a surge in vacancies. Along with about 9.9 million square feet of vacant office space, available sublet space is up about 67% from the last year to 4.5 million square feet, to bring the total availability in the core to 17.5%, said Awaz and Young in its latest report on office vacancies in Toronto. The Greater Toronto office market had a vacancy rate of 13.6% while adding in the available sublet space, which was up 42% from last year, brings total availability to 18.1%. The company said it expects availability and vacancy to continue rising in the short term, with demand for traditional office space still below historical levels. Awaz and Young said some developers have repurposed some new office construction projects to cater instead to lab space for the life sciences sector. In JL's latest reports on commercial space, the real estate services firm said the pattern of massive rental increases on industrial and warehouse spaces seen during the pandemic is losing momentum amid higher vacancies. Softening market demand has significantly slowed the progress of new office space supply, JL said. Higher construction cost and interest in office to residential conversions have also affected the planning and pre-construction stages of number of proposed commercial and mixed-use projects. The firm added, projecting that uncertainty will keep the supply pipeline thin beyond 2025. Nova Scotia RCMP say they have recovered the body of a child who went missing Saturday when the province was hit with extreme flooding. Police are also confirming today that human remains found on Monday were those of the second child missing. The two children were traveling with 3 other people who managed to escape when the vehicle they were in was submerged. Other than the 2 children, RCMP on Monday said they recovered the body of a 52-year-old man from Windsor in the main search area in Brooklyn, northwest of Halifax. They are still looking for the 4th missing person, whom police have described as a youth under 18. Torrential rain over the weekend dumped up to 250 millimeters of water on several parts of the province, washing out roads and bridges and causing widespread damage. Search efforts are underway for a man who went missing while tubing down a waterway about 80 kilometers west of Halifax. Police say 3 men were tubing Monday in the Gold River on Nova Scotia's south shore when their tube capsized. 2 men managed to swim ashore, and the third man was last seen floating downriver. RCMP say the search operation involves police, air services, first responders, and the Joint Rescue Coordination Center. Heavy rain fell on the region over the weekend, with up to 250 millimeters of rain falling on some parts of the province. Police have found the bodies of 2 or 4 people who went missing Saturday northwest of Halifax after the 2 vehicles they were traveling in were submerged in floodwaters. With Prime Minister Justin Trudeau expected to shuffle his cabinet as early as Wednesday, a string of Liberal ministers have confirmed they will not run in the next federal election. Fisheries Minister Joyce Murray, Transport Minister Omar Alghabra, Public Services and Procurement Minister Helena Jaczek, and Mental Health and Addictions Minister Caroline Bennett all announced this week that they will not seek re-election. Trudeau has been holding private meetings in the capital this week, while several other ministers have cancelled public appearances, both signs of an impending shake-up. A government source with knowledge of the matter said the cabinet shuffle would happen as soon as Wednesday. They were granted anonymity because they were not authorized to speak about it publicly. The last time Trudeau shuffled his cabinet in a significant way was in 2021. Experts say the expected adjustments this week will show who Trudeau wants with him on the battleground. Armstrong, who was the lead speechwriter for Trudeau and helped author the Liberal Party's election platform in 2015 and 2019, said the government is going to be looking for their strongest communicators to fill those files. Armstrong said she isn't surprised by the recent string of resignations because the job can be a grind, but the fact there could be some empty seats in cabinet paves the way for renewal after nearly 8 years in power. Jaczek, who was first elected in 2019, announced she won't be seeking re-election on Tuesday, but said she will continue to serve her Markham-Stouffville constituency until the next election. She was previously the minister responsible for the Federal Economic Development Agency for the Southern Ontario. Jaczek was also a member of provincial parliament and practiced medicine before politics, serving as the medical officer of health and commissioner of health services for York, Ontario. Alghabra, who was first elected in 2006, also announced his decision on Twitter, saying it came after a lot of reflection. He said he will continue to support Trudeau's vision going forward. Alghabra has served as transport minister since 2021. Prior to politics, he worked at General Electric Canada and the Ontario Energy Board. Murray was also first elected in 2008, was the third to make her announcement on Twitter Tuesday. It was a reversal from what she told reporters in the late June. She said on Parliament Hill that she would be the Liberal candidate for Vancouver Quadra in the next federal election. Murray previously served as Minister of Digital Government and also served in the British Columbia provincial cabinet. Prior to politics, she worked for her reforestation company. Mental Health and Addiction Minister Caroline Bennett also announced on Monday that she would not stand for re-election. Police have released new video of a shocking incident in Parkdale in which a bicycle cop was struck by a stolen vehicle. It happened on Jamaican Avenue near King Street West at around 2:20 p.m. on July 22nd. Police said that the stolen vehicle was stopped in the northbound lanes of the roadway when it was first spotted by officers. As officers approached the vehicle on their bicycles, police say the driver accelerated towards them. The 15-second video released by police begins about midway through the incident and shows the suspect vehicle briefly pulling into the opposite lane of traffic in an attempt to flee and then slamming into an officer on a bike who seeks refuge on top of another vehicle's hood. The vehicle then proceeds into the intersection as the injured officer falls to the ground. Police say that the vehicle was later found abandoned in the Lansdowne Avenue and Queen Street West area. The injured officer, meanwhile, was taken to hospital where they were treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Police said that 17-year-old girl has been arrested in connection with the incident, though the alleged driver of the stolen vehicle remains outstanding.
This was all from us today. I'm Kubra Ali, and I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.